Hello YouTube, welcome to this installment of the Avion blog. So today on the Avion blog we're going to be taking a look at a network test meter. It's something new on our arsenal over here. It's a Chinese model, but I've used several of the Chinese models in the past and I haven't had any problems from the same brand. The meter in question we're looking at is the NF8601 from Noyafa, and we're going to get straight down onto the bench and take a look and see what this meter can offer, how it works, and pretty much a little bit of everything. And don't forget, we're also going to be doing a few lab videos. The next lab video will be power supplies. The first one was the multimeter. The next one I feel is power supplies in the lineup. So that'll be coming up soon. We'll also be doing a more advanced review of the Fluke 287, and we'll also be taking a look at a Fluke 789 process meter. But before we do the review on the process meter, I'm going to make a video about process meters, about the process functions, the 4 to 20 milliamp loops, etc. within factory or manufacturing environments, etc. so that you guys have an understanding of what a process meter can be used for and what it actually is before we go and do a review on the meter. Now the 789 is actually a bit of a multimeter and a process meter in one, but we'll get to that later. A lot of people don't understand the whole process in a factory or in a manufacturing environment or whatever, how the 4 to 20 milliamp loops work, etc., how the signals are moved around within the environment, how they're transmitted and received, and how a calibrator meter actually works within that environment. So we'll first do a full video teaching you guys a little bit of the basics about 4 to 20 milliamp loops, how they work, how the transmitters work, how the receivers work, etc. And then we'll go into detail about the review on the 789, simulating a few sort of environments, etc. Now, before we get too involved with that, let's jump straight in and talk about this new Noyafa meter and what its capabilities are. So let's get straight down to the bench. Hello everybody. Okay, so this is the packaging of the Noyafa meter. Now I've obviously already opened this and played with it. It's not an unboxing. So we're going to get straight inside here and we're going to take a look at what is available and how it all functions. Now, in this specific set, I've already gotten rid of some of the stuff that we don't need in here. And I'm seeing a bug, which shouldn't be in here. Get rid of him before he causes some problems. Okay, so here we go. We've got in the set the RJ11, RJ45. We've got the USB charge cable. We've got a wire map adapter, which we're going to pull out here now. Now the wire map adapter is for doing analysis over distance. So you're going to be, if you'd be using the transmitter system, and then this on the end of the cable where both ends are not available to plug directly into here, that's where this device here will come in. Seems pretty sturdy, put together with security hex keys, etc. So I'll put that aside. We have the tone unit or the receiver. Now this tone unit also doubles up as a non-contact voltage probe. The function set, you just basically switch it on, powered, nothing at the moment. You can set whether you want it on scan, which is to scan, non-contact voltage, and then of course it's got a charge LED for when it's on charge. This is just for the two different torches on the top, and then this is actually a sensitivity control for this device, which we'll show you guys soon. So let's put that aside, and then last of all we have the meter. So let's move all this other stuff out of the way and get in closer on the meter so you guys can see what it's all about. Alright, so here we have the meter. Now just let's walk around the meter a little bit. On the front face you have the display, you have the power switch, you have this rotating button, you have a 4-key sort of cursor and an OK button in the middle. On this side over here we have a PoE ping port and we have a RJ45 scan port. On the top we have an RJ45 main, we have a RJ11 main and a BNC. On this side here we've got a TF card slot and a charge port and nothing on the bottom. Now my first impressions on this meter is actually quite easy to hold because of the design. It seems to be made for hand holding and grasping, etc. But what we're going to do now is we're going to turn it on, going to see that nice little graphical full color display over there. And then what we're going to do now is we're going to do a few tests. Now the first test that this meter offers, let's get it even closer, is the mapping function. Okay, so mapping, let's just grab a cable and jack it into the main port. Now mapping is basically going to tell us if there's any sort of cross-wired connections, and I believe we go into the scan port as well, and then we can run a mapping. This is a Cat5, but you can choose RJ11, Cat6 or BNC. It'll run the test, and then it'll come back and it'll say, okay, wire map local, because I'm connected on the local machine. Everything is 1-to-1, no problems at all. Now this can also be plugged into the wire mapping device at a distance, and the same test can be carried out. The only difference is now it'll tell us wire map remote and connections are okay. So that's basic wire mapping. It's nothing too fancy, I suppose, but it pretty much gets the job done of telling you if the cable is tested out okay or not. Now the next function is port flash. Now port flash is an interesting one, because port flash, there it is designed to almost flash the LEDs on the port. So now if I were to plug this into a switch, okay, let's just find a switch that's not PoE rated. I might have to use a different port. Sorry, I'm still learning about this thing a little bit. Let's just see what happens here. Port flash. Now you see that red light is flicking on the screen. That's flashing the port exactly like that, and it flashes constantly, so you can now identify on the switch which port it is you're looking at, which is brilliant. Okay, that is actually really cool. Now the next function is of course the scan function. Let's just plug this wire in on the side over here to the scan port, and then you can push the scan port. Now sorry, I'm on port flash, scan, and it'll tell you scanning. Now if you're scanning over a PoE switch, you push down and it'll show you PoE switch, so now it's basically isolating you from the PoE and still allowing you to run the scan on the cables. Now in this case it's a normal one. So now where that comes in handy now is you bring in your tone probe, you set it for scan, and you adjust your sensitivity until then you can sort of scan around, and when you find the right ports over here, so now you know that that is the cable. Now I do notice that this thing is a little bit hypersensitive no matter where you really set this control, so I'm going to see about using the same function set using a normal tone and probe, but I'll do that at a later stage. Look, it works, so there's nothing wrong with that. Then another nice function that this thing offers is ping. So we can now plug this into the ping PoE port. We can plug this into our switch. Okay, there it is. We can go ping. We can go configure. We'll see if it's got it. We'll say auto obtain. It should grab an IP address from my network over here. There you go. It's got an IP address. So you can go back to the beginning and now go to ping, and we can, for example, we're going to ping Google 8888. So we'll go start, it'll run the ping test, and then it'll give you the replies. Now I don't think it had fully connected up yet, so let's do that one more time. It's pinging the Google with 32 bytes of data. There you get your reply, 57 milliseconds, time 29. Okay, so there's your results. Then it'll give you your packet sent for, received for, approximate round trip times in milliseconds, minimum 20, maximum 29, average 24 milliseconds to the Google server. Now if you were to come up here, you can then also do a ping to your local network devices or whatever the case may be. A really, really nice function. Now while we're in the ping PoE port, I'm going to bypass this length measurement and go straight to PoE. If we go into PoE and we just hit start, it's going to test the PoE circuit and tell you which wires you've got voltage on. So as you can see here now, on 1 and 2 we're showing 50 volts, 3 and 4 nothing, 5 and 6, sorry, 4 and 5 we're showing 50.3 volts, 607080. Now that feels a bit off, but that could just be that this switch is testing any combination to see if there's any response. This device may actually wake it up completely, so I'm not too sure about that. But when I did do a test on a normal PoE passive device, it showed us the correct pairs, etc. So yeah, it does work, and it works pretty well as well. Now the last function set I want to talk about, okay, by the way, there is a setup area over here where you can set your backlight times and etc., but I'm not going to worry about that, is the length test, okay? Now the length test works with a standard pair of cable. I don't think it's going to measure a length on this because it's too short, but let's give it a go. Unit in meters, we can calibrate it. I'm not going to calibrate it. Length test. Actually, it got it. Now, if you look over there, it's telling us it's open, it's not connected to anything, and it's 1.9 meters. All pairs, all wires are 1.9 meters. Now, as soon as you have a broken wire in the pair, you'll see a shorter value in here, which tells you now which pair or which wire is damaged. That's brilliant. It needs to be calibrated to work effectively, but it does work, and it actually really helps you with fault diagnosis, etc. out in the field. Now, I've gone through pretty much all the basics of this device, and there's not a lot to it. It's basically a network testing device. I wouldn't use it for toning out any electrical cables or whatever, but between these two devices over here, you have a system. Okay, this system allows you to basically find 90% of your network related issues while you're working in the field, without too much hassle, I might add. It's really cool that this Noyafa company is making these devices, and at a pretty reasonable price point. I mean, I imported this device at a cost of under 2,000 Rand, boxed, and it fills a lot of needs that I have out in the field. I have a Fluke system similar to this, but I use this one more simply because it's compact and it works well. And I enjoy using it. It's simple. It's not made complicated. It's made easy to use. And pretty much that's it, guys. So, to boot with this system, something that I really like is both the transmitter and the receiver have a standard sort of mini USB charge port. Like you could use your cell phone charger to charge both of these devices. Both of them have lithium-ion batteries in them, so their runtime is fantastic, and you no longer need to carry spare batteries around with you because you can charge these off your cell phone charger in the field, off a power bank, pretty much anything. So guys, that's pretty much it for this quick review of the NF8601 from Noyafa. The equipment is built well. I think it should last a while. I had the predecessor to this, which is the black and white older version, and you know what, I never had any issues from it. So I think all in all their products are pretty decent. So if you're wanting to know anything about this product, you're welcome to ask questions on the video below, and I'll be sure to check it, and then I'll advise you the outcome of any of those tests that you want me to do. No, this cannot be used on live electrical circuits, but it is great for telephone tracing. It can be used in certain ways on live network environments, which is brilliant as well. And I believe the toning function can be used on a live network environment as well. I haven't tried that yet, because usually when I'm testing out cables, I disconnect them and I isolate the cable and then test it. But I will be sure to check that out, and I'll give you some more feedback. But guys, thanks for watching this video, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if there's any reviews or questions on any of my products that I review, or any of the things that I design, or any of the tutorials that I create, please don't hesitate to ask, and I'll get back to you guys as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.